Hi guys, welcome. Scatlink here, we're off for the 5th anniversary of this channel. That is a big milestone in my opinion. I mean, we've come a long way since we, started with these two things, the Dazzle, Pinnacle, DVC 100 and Zelda Twilight Princess for GameCube, 360p, through Composite, and no Miiverse stamps. Or even Cave of Shadows, and it's been a long while since we've done that series, and we kept going back to it as well. And since it's such a big milestone, I wanted to pretty much just talk about my thoughts on the channel so far, in terms of just basically a reflection, just looking back at some of the projects I've done, my personal best, the most popular, and ones that I could possibly improve upon if I wanted to go and just completely redo them. Like, what would I change compared to what I do now? Like, how was my standards and quality come up from before, where I was stuck with Windows Live Movie Maker and I had only a text, a video and one sound layer. Now I've got all the layers that I could possibly work on, so I can have graphics, I can have end cards, I can have music playing with other stuff, I can have zoom-ins on the camera, and have multiple stuff appear on the screen at once. Literally completely stark contrast from the beginning to what we are now. And I've also got a bit of a giveaway to give, so I want to get into that right now, since that's the first thing first and foremost. I want to cover that first, and then we're going to get to the real meat, which is reflection. So, for this giveaway, when I got South Park The Fractured But Whole, it came with a download code for the PS4 version of South Park The Stick of Truth. Now, I do not need this code, I have not used this code, so I'm going to give it away. I've got the PS3 version, and I've already made progress on that one since, the Let's Play. I've got trophies already, so I'd rather just continue playing that version, because I've also got the DLC for that as well. So, with this, I'm going to be giving away the PS4 Stick of Truth code under these conditions, making it a little bit of a competition for you guys. Plus, it also helps out with me as well, and therefore it helps out the channel in some possible way as well. So, in order to win this code, 10 of you lucky people that pledge $1 a month on Patreon will be going toward the $10 goal. Once we hit that $10 goal, this code will be given away, and I'll be sending it to you via Discord, because when you pledge $1, you get access to the Discord, and therefore you get access to all the channels and stuff. And if you do it through Patreon, you get exclusive Patreon roles, so you get exclusivity and priority in the Discord and stuff like that as well. And you also get access to exclusive and unseen content on Patreon, including never before seen videos like our Pokemon Redux episode 1. I'll talk about that later on in the reflection. It's never been seen before, it's an hour and a half, and that's like a little bit of an extra incentive as well. Plus, like I said, the first $10 that go in will go toward the goal, so you get this code. So for Stick of Truth PS4, you will be getting that code. And if you do not have a PS4, please let me know. But at the same time, there is a free link in the description below that will last for 24 hours at the time this video goes up. And that Discord link is pretty much a free invite to the Discord, but it does not give you Patreon exclusive access or all the roles that are tied towards. So you'll have to go through Patreon for that. But if you still want to be on the Discord, be immediately notified for stuff that happens on the channel or live streams that happen with me and all my mates. And if you want one-on-one conversations, that is still available. But for Patreon exclusivity, that has to go through Patreon. I'm not going to give special treatment for that. But like I said, you will be winning the code for a PS4 version of Stick of Truth. I've got this code here, hasn't been used. That's the reward. So happy birthday to you guys. Okay, so to start off this channel reflection of everything that we have done, I want to talk about my personal best projects that I would like to recommend to you guys. Not because that these are the most popular on the channel, we'll cover those in a bit, but these are like the most personal best that I feel like that I've put the most into, and I actually miss editing, or I really enjoyed editing them and doing the channel, doing on the channel and covering them and giving it the best that I possibly could. And I enjoyed every minute of them, and maybe a few more things that I could change about them, but the ones that I've got separated for the stuff that I can improve upon, they've got way more reasons for improvement, because they were later on in the channel. First of all is my 18th LP of the Undertale True Pacifist playthrough. This Let's Play was a little bit of a amalgamation, a massive collection of all my friends, basically Kazuo Sake, Daxter Sake, Space Kitsune, or Merc's blog, Connor Mezza, my Bromaster Aaron, Sublinkario, and Wilfons. We all did like voice acting for the characters and all that, so it was basically a half playthrough, half fan dub kind of thing, kind of merging both of those parts of the fandom into one. And it was, yeah, true pacifist all the way through. We covered everything, like Sans' special keys and stuff. We also covered all the dates, and we had a lot of bloopers as well. And I have to say thank you to Milky-chan for allowing me to use her Undertale fan song "Falling" for the credit sequence. So everyone will be in the description below, and if I can fit them in the cards in the top corner or on the end card, I will. And yeah, there's probably some gameplay playing as well for everything that I'm talking about here. So it's not just me on the webcam all the time, just to give you a bit of an idea. But I would definitely recommend the Undertale True Pacifist playthrough, because I miss editing this, and the reason being is because it was so fun to like implement everybody's voice acting into the episodes, cobbling it all together, and you know, having it as like a finished Let's Play kind of thing. Basically, this was a love project between all of us, but it was my idea initially. My 23rd LP of One Shot. Now, if you like Undertale, you'll love One Shot. It annihilates the fourth wall, it is self-aware, it does things to your computer that you might think is a virus, but if it's from Steam, it clearly isn't, because, you know, that's certified. And the way that the game tells the story, and even in the meta-universe, it makes sense. The game is real, like, you are technically part of the game in a way, but not as the game, but in the meta-universe, it's crazy. And there's moral choices, it's emotional, it's beautiful with its art style, and it fits the theme so well. It doesn't have to be realistic, because you're looking through a window, a literal window to another world, and it's like within your computer in a way. And the meta story is just so good. It's like storytelling. It's like meta peak. I can't express it enough, and I'm probably not going to be showing a lot of footage here because I can't explain it, and maybe my reactions could have been a little bit like more nuanced, or maybe like a bit more somber, but at the same time, because of the experience I had during the Let's Play, because it was blind, that's pretty much my legit reactions when I had some stuff happen. And you know what, because it's one of those games that you can only play once, it's like I wouldn't be able to redo it. You wouldn't be able to unless I left it for like 20 years and it was not on my mind, but it's something that just sticks with you. This game is more of an experience than anything else. It's something that you just have to like live through in a way. You have to personally live it. I mean, of course you could check the Let's Play as well, and I would recommend it, but if you want to see my reactions, I would say play it at least through once first and then see how I reacted. But I can't recommend it enough. At least get it on Steam. It's super cheap, only about £8. You might as well do it, and it's got so many updates recently for different languages, so there's literally no excuse. My 21st LP, Freedom Planet. Now, if you remember when I was coming close to 1,000 subscribers, and my next LP being slated was going to be South Park: The Fractured But Whole, but, you know, that came a bit late after release because a bit of a cock-up in the delivery department. But, you know, I said that I was going to be doing Freedom Planet if we reached 1,000 subscribers beforehand, and we did. And the reason why this sticks with me, like, being a personal best of mine, is because of just having Dawn Bennett, the voice actor for Sash Lilac, the main character that you play in the game. Actually, I was able to get in touch with her and request a few custom lines for the intro and whatnot, and I thought, and that made me really happy. The gameplay, well, I could have been better at the game, but, you know, it's not anything that you can't just, you know, play through casually or whatnot. It could have been a lot better, but hey, we were able to cover the bonus content via the beta content with Talk, because I was playing the PC version, and it was also one of my first projects that was actually 60 frames, because OBS was working. As long as I recorded my commentary on a different computer, it could actually record at 60 frames. It's a 720p game, but you know, that doesn't really matter. It's 60 frames. The only other project that was able to get 60 frames was Final Fantasy Anniversary, because on PSP with Roxio, as long as it's component at 480p, it records at 60 frames, which I didn't know that it did until I started editing on Premiere Pro halfway through that project, or the main part of that project. Freedom Planet was like completely all 60 frames, so it's probably one of the smoothest projects that I've done on the channel as well, and I was super proud of getting it like that. And the layout, the way that I structured the game, could have planned that a little bit better, but because I hit 1,000 subscribers, we kind of like went as we went. But I still feel like it was one of the personal best projects, mainly because of Dawn support. So thanks for that. My final Miiverse moments. Now this was actually a collaboration between me and Meryl, so it's kind of split between both our channels. It's a sequel to my Off the Wall project, which was my final Wi-Fi matches, where on the DSi and the Wii, internet capability was disappearing, and this is the same thing for Miiverse. So me and Meryl went through all of our games that we could get, that we had, to cover all the games that were losing Miiverse support, like able to view stamps or use stamps or content or Miiverse interaction, or integration, stuff like that. And instead of it being split into different games, because that would have been super short for every episode, we pretty much did like a compilation of all of the games that fit that theme. We pretty much recorded everything, but then we kind of split it up into different categories to make it more streamlined. Some of us had longer episodes, some had shorter, but it was the same on both sides of the spectrum. And then we had like a final video where we pretty much just looked through Miiverse for the final time. I definitely would recommend it. It needs a bit more attention considering that Miiverse no longer exists, even though the icons do exist. Maybe they just want to show off the logo of something that no longer exists. I don't understand why they did that, considering that they get rid of the logo or the icon for Nintendo TV II, because that service never existed around here. But yeah, that don't make much sense. But yeah, final Miiverse moments, I would definitely recommend that, considering that, you know, that's pretty much content that we're never going to see again. And my 11th LP, South Park Stick of Truth, aside from the glitchy footage and the fuzzy 720p visuals, considering that it was, you know, at the time, it was my first HP project for one thing, and considering how the game itself went, like the project itself went, I couldn't like have it any other way really. I just love the game. In fact, the last 8 episodes I recorded all in one sitting because I was just having that much fun. And this was after I got back from work, and I had work the next day, so, and that was a lot of time to like edit and get it through, and every video took about 14 hours to render, so that was fun. But remember, this was different equipment back in the day. This was my old laptop, and now I've got my new laptop. Well, I say new in terms of contrast. It's the one I've been using for Adobe Premiere Pro, but the other two had my old laptop and my current desktop use Sony Vegas because they don't like a Premiere Pro. But yeah, it's that series. I wouldn't change it in any other way other than maybe, you know, just have better visual output, because now I can record in better quality because I can use the raw footage and it doesn't glitch as much, even though for some reason during South Park Fractured But Whole it glitched quite a bit. That's just the Roxio just being weird with 2D animation for some bizarre reason. I think it seems to struggle with that more than anything else, because it hasn't glitched during Kingdom Hearts, but now I'm just going off on a tangent. So yeah, South Park Stick of Truth, definitely like one of the better projects I have done. I even covered both sides of the split because I felt a bit guilty of not being able to show the censored stuff, and I could have, you know, moved over to the PC, but I couldn't record the PC version with my current equipment at the time. It wouldn't have been powerful enough to both record and play the game at a decent graphical rating, and I was already doing the PS3 version. It would be pointless getting multiple of the same game at the time. So yeah, that I would definitely recommend it. And plus, like I said, Stick of Truth is a PS4 download code that I'm offering to you guys, as I've said earlier in this video. So I would definitely recommend it, and that will get you ready for Fractured But Whole that just recently came out on the Switch. Now for my most popular projects, the projects that pretty much have the most views, the most likes, comments, stuff like that, that basically you guys have pretty much said in some possible manner that these are my most personal projects. Heck, they're still getting traffic today, especially the first one I need to mention, which is my 14th LP, Disney's Haunted Mansion. When I first did this project, what I was setting out to do was cover it as 100% as possible. There was no true 100% as a consensus on the internet. I pretty much had to check multiple different sources and plan out my route before even recording the game, before even thinking about it. Funnily enough, I would have just done it normally if I did it for my first Halloween special, but this was my second after Luigi's Mansion 2 years later, which I'm glad I did, because, you know, I've actually got better equipment, better editing skills, and I have navigation bars and end cards now, which probably were one of my best end cards and navigation bars, because they were very graphical. In fact, when they were in the permanently missable cards, I had a graphic on screen until I grabbed all permanently missable cards. That graphic disappears, so you know that you're not going to miss out on anything. And there's 349 cards in the game. That means there's one card missing, and I thought that was weird. And if we do ever find like any more cards in the game or any more collectibles to go for 100%, I would go back and cover those. But so far, the only cards that have been found are like 22 out of bounds, but you can't grab them during during normal gameplay, and I've been told that through comments and stuff like that. And because of like how on point it was, that's probably why it did so well, because it was advertised as a 100% walkthrough, and everyone else just had Let's Plays of Haunted Mansion, and people probably wanted to do like 100% speedruns as a category or something, for example, but we don't know what 100% is, so maybe I made that a thing, I don't know. But I've had a lot of comments saying that it was a good Let's Play, and just considering only being through composite, because I do have the component wire to record the PS3, but the game weren't compatible with component output, so I had to actually just use composite, and I even had a clip at the beginning in the first part showing why that wasn't the case. And even though that, you know, didn't actually make us get into the game until about 50 minutes into the video, people actually weren't that mad about it, and that was actually a little bit of a worry for me on the first episode. They would moan either about the quality, considering I can already record PS3 through component wire, but then would explaining it also be a bit bad. No, everyone was happy with that, so yeah, positive reviews all round, and I've been going on a bit long for this, so I better cut to the next one. My 16th LP, Donkey Kong 64, the game that you guys voted for out of Donkey Kong 64, Ico, Final Fantasy Anniversary on the PSP, and Zelda Link to the Past, which I haven't got to yet, but I really want to, because I want to cover Ancient Stone tablets and stuff like that. With Donkey Kong 64, it was actually well received to the point that Blue Hedgehog Man 17, before we were like proper friends, like doing like collaborations and all that, and being friends across YouTube and all that, when he was just a normal subscriber and a fan of my channel, he did like an entire Let's Play of Donkey Kong 64 dedicated to me for my LP of Donkey Kong 64. That's probably like one of the biggest fan things I've ever seen, and not only that, but now we're like I said, racing Ocarina of Time, and we've done Super Mario 64 Online. It's crazy, the internet, man. It's unbelievable. And Donkey Kong 64, because I actually switched it in a widescreen, and I did it on the Wii U, so it was a lot sharper. Even though on the Wii U, when I changed it to widescreen in the game, it's still 4:3 squish due to the emulator. In editing, I could easily fix that, and I did. So there was a bit of a presentation update there. And not only that, but because it was sharper, and doing it the Wii U version, it was a lot cleaner. It was the latest version of the game, but at the same time, because of no lag, that was also causing a lot of issues with the mini games. But all in all, it was I enjoyed that project more so than the other project I had going on at the time that I wanted to do, which was Earthbound. I chose that project, and that project was a little bit more than anything else, and that's because of hard mode. But with Donkey Kong 64, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you guys did too, so, you know, it's win-win in that regard. Because, you know, if I didn't enjoy it, I mean, I would still probably enjoy editing it, because I can edit according to my frustration, which brings me to my next project that I want to talk about, actually. That is definitely one of the most popular, bar none, and that is Ocarina of Time Chaos Edition. Good lord, we've had some memes there. That was a journey. 2.5 years of frustration. But I will tell you this, my editing freedom, or my style in editing on that, was probably the most funnest time I've had editing videos. Also the most painful, but I'll get into that in a moment. Because as of all the chaoticness that happened, I could have silly sound effects, memes, and stuff like that, and then I implemented webcam, and you could actually see my frustration, the buttons physically not actually working, and I also had technical issues with my controller at the time, so I had to swap it for another one, which was of a similar layout, so I didn't have to change any buttons. And then, obviously, we finally conquered it in the end, and the quality kept on shifting every so often, but pretty much the same mistake with the nice blurry border that I had. That's probably what was causing a lot of the issues, to be honest, with it camera rendering. Maybe it didn't like it, I don't know. Because when it came to the Chaos Editions, especially Ocarina of Time Chaos Edition, maybe it is because of how I made that blurry border, it didn't like it, but it didn't like rendering the videos, and it was a real nightmare to just get them finalized to upload. I mean, I have to render them in order to upload them, and it wouldn't let me do that. So it was like I have to like render them without it, render it with it, and then render it all again, and that reduces the quality slightly. But considering that the camera's always spinning around like a madman, that wasn't that big of an issue. But at the same time, Mario 64 Chaos Edition was a lot more easier to edit, and that was a lot more fun than Ocarina of Time. But it wasn't as popular as Ocarina of Time Chaos Edition, and Kazuya Emanuel, our legendary editor that he is, yeah, that was his sentient baby. That's basically his one shot. And I'm not talking about that in terms of like being evil. I'm talking about that as being sentient. Because I firmly believe that Ocarina of Time Chaos Edition has some form of sentience to the point that it knows what you're about to do, it knows what you're going to do, and it will do everything possible to stop you from doing it. Unless you keep persevering, where eventually it'll just wave a white flag saying, I'm sick of your determination. So, yeah. That makes me laugh sometimes. But yeah, the editing was definitely the highlight of that, and I think that's why it was one of my most popular. Maybe because of rage as well, my pain, but you know, I had fun editing it, so I can't really complain about sitting through it. And that's why it was spread over 2.5 years, because I couldn't do it all in one sitting. It was just impossible. You think I'm that big of a madman? Of course not. I was just mad enough to conquer it. And even though this ain't one of my most popular series, the video itself that started off that series was, or mini-series shall I say, is my most popular video ever, over 50,000 views, and that is my Hyrule Warriors completion guides, more specifically my level grinding guide for normal warriors. With this guide, I mean, I had a plan to record it, but at the same time it could have been a little bit more professionally done, and it could have also been a lot less glitchy footage. This was during the time when my Roxio didn't always want to work when intended, but now it pretty much does, except for South Park. And during that video, I had the intention of just showing the Rex Ruby glitch, because that was the first time afterwards that I was actually able to get it off, and I wanted to show this off. And I wasn't seeing a lot of videos on level grinding with the Max Ruby glitch on the current version, or even level grinding without using glitches if you just want to do it legitimately. And it was my most popular video. I just can't dispute that. At this current point in time of recording this, it's my most popular video. It's even beating out my WeConnect 24's ending video, and that was shoddily made considering what I had. It was just like a little news video made out of nowhere, just covering what's there, but that was made in Windows Movie Maker, so there you go. That just tells you how limited that video was in terms of editing. I also had other videos for that, like the level grinding guide for the bosses, which was an hour long. I could have chopped that down just a tad. My final A rank, and then the big 600 compilation, which actually is the second most popular of that series. And that pretty much shows that with all the DLC from the game, all the promotional DLC, all the updates, and everything else, like including the 3DS DLC that you have to put onto the Wii U through the 3DS, literally that equals up to 600%. Which was 850 hours of gameplay, but considering now there's a definitive edition and the Hyrule Warriors Legends didn't actually have the promotional DLC available for buying, so I couldn't actually beat that even if I wanted to. I didn't get quite far enough for that until, you know, the definitive edition for Switch is just coming up, and, well, I'm going to be playing that. It's a lot less fuggly, it's 60 frames, I think it's 1080p, and, yeah, the 3DS one just runs sluggishly, it's just horrible to look at. And it's also very annoying to try and navigate the maps because it's so zoomed in. It's like, can you not zoom that out just a tad? But there you go. So yeah, my most popular video of that little series, and that's why I made a few more videos, because I wanted to follow up on that, because I thought people would like to see that as well. So I would recommend those others as well, but that one video, the level grinding guide, the first one, is my most popular video at this time. And now for projects that I could possibly improve upon if I would redo them. The basic, and I'm going to give my reasons on why. And the first one I want to talk about is my Super Mario Maker, my custom courses. This could also mention the Super Mario Brothers Special recreation, but the reason why that glitchy footage is there is because the footage got corrupted. It didn't glitch during recording, it actually corrupted, and I had to recover it because my if possible, and this was only one of the rare times I was actually able to recover the footage, because, you know, normally when the footage corrupts I just re-record it, but because of the commentary was there and I couldn't actually edit the videos at the time, I didn't check to see if they were edited, and it was like a month and a half afterwards where I was actually editing the videos finally, and so that's why that could have been a lot cleaner. And for my custom courses in general, until Nintendo said, oh, you can't just upload anything, and if it doesn't get enough stars we're just going to remove them, except for your first 10 levels, because, you know, that's the only way to get stars in order to upload more levels. All the levels I was uploading, even though they were doing better than my originals, just didn't want to stay there, so I just ended the series because I wasn't putting up with that rubbish. What's the point of, like, going through all that trouble to make a video and then Nintendo just say remove it, and then the video is technically dead because I have to remake the entire stage again in order to re-upload it, because it just locks you out on doing anything with that stage, which is stupid, because why can't I not edit the stage then re-upload it to see if that's the reason why it didn't do so well, because it was too hard? But no, you gotta build it all over again. That's why I just stopped that, and I've never uploaded those stages at all. But hey, we've got a Discord now, so if I do make any new stages, I'll put them up there. I just haven't had the any reason to do so. So if you guys want me to bring that back, or, you know, just submit them on the Discord, there you go, I'll do so. Third LP, Metroid Other M. This entire whole Let's Play I could possibly redo. It wasn't really planned out that well. I just where to grab all the items after the main story, because that's when you can get them. But there were some upgrades that I could have actually grabbed during the main story to make things a tad bit easier. Plus, it was 4x3, the colours were washed out, it was 480p, and, you know, and it all looked fuzzy. It could be a lot clearer, a lot more vibrant, because I can play it for the Wii U now. Not only that, but, you know, instead of having, if I do it for the Wii U, I'll be playing on the TV and not in front of my desktop like I was before, trying to get the pointer to work with the sensor board in front of my monitor. It wasn't working out very well, and that probably probably attributed to poor gameplay as well, and it wasn't as professionally done. The only thing that I can say that I did actually like about this project was the font that I used for the collectibles, but that was really the only thing, so I couldn't have any graphics. The end cards were terrible because I was using paint at the time, and well, some of them were okay, but they could have been a lot better because I use Photoshop now, so I can see why I need to improve. And of course, you know, widescreen will just look a lot better, it will look a lot sharper, and the audio will probably be better as well, so it will also be a lot more professionally done, so I can see why I can improve on that. If you guys want me to redo that, I'll definitely do that, but that's probably like one of the only LPs that I feel like I would completely redo from the ground up. Alright, my own creation. My 9th LP on my own game that I made in RPG Maker VX, the Sacred Blacksmith RPG, based off of the anime, the English dub, word for word. But all the maps were made by me, and they were all in a cohesive design that works with the gameplay and the story, but at the same time it wasn't actually on point with what the map is shown in like widescreen shots in the anime itself, which is not really a bit of an issue really. As long as it works in game, it kind of works, and they are recognisable as sets. That's pretty much how I built them all, set by set, build them all, and, you know, make a massive map out of it. But the thing that I could have done a lot better was not only the recording quality, because it was all washed out and it was definitely more vibrant when I was playing it, but the problem is that the border was just, the middle part was just stretched just to fit the screen in the middle, and that was also the end card, which was very lazy of me. Plus, the navigation bar was literally just red patterns with text on it. It could have been a lot better. The title card could be a lot better as well, but like I said, this was all made in paint. I didn't have GIMP 2 or Photoshop at the time. That could all be a lot better, and therefore the resources in the game could also be a lot better. The mugshots, I've actually got newer mugshots because I was thinking of making a sequel after that time, but I never actually did, and the sequel was going to be based off of the manga after those 12 episodes and try to join it up so it's still cohesive, but because the story is slightly different. But in the end, that's pretty much an issue. In fact, playing the game before even recording it would have been a lot better, because I had to repair the game like 4 times, make 4 revisions during the project. But I've still got a lot of positive comments saying that it was like pretty good, including the code for making the boss replayer option working. That was very messy code. I mean, maybe if I get a little bit better at coding, I might be able to redo that completely. But I don't know if I want to go back to it, but I can see where I can improve. So I might as well make mention of it here, just in case. And the game is still available for download via the Google Drive link. That has not expired. So if you guys still want to try it out, download links in the description of the Sacred Blacksmith RPG episodes. My 5th LP of Ocarina of Time was pretty good. There's a few things that I could also change about that. Halfway through the project, we moved from Windows Live Movie Maker to Sony Vegas, but because it didn't like taking the raw footage from the Dazzle, I had to convert them, so that's why some episodes look a bit more washed out, than being a bit more vibrant, but most of the time they were more vibrant. Plus, it was done on the 64. If I did it for the GameCube, or hell, even the 3DS, which I would have done, it would have been a lot more better looking. Not only that, but the text I used for the collectibles, like the gold sculptures and heart pieces, that could have been a slightly different text, and of course I could use graphics now, especially since that at the time, halfway through, I actually had a navigation bar, but introducing that halfway through the project was a little bit odd. But the end cards also had to be changed for widescreen format as well, and the end cards were terrible. They could have been way better, but again, all I had was paint, so I had to work with what I had. Other than that, not really much else I can improve, really. If I redid the game, I mean, I've already done it a few times. Like I said, we're doing an Ocarina of Time Versus right now, then we did Chaos Edition, then we did the Urba Challenge. I did do the Urba Challenge for the GameCube version, but that's because that after that 100% walkthrough, I found out that if I had this certain program, I can actually change the Dazzle to work with 60 Hz, because the actual Dazzle recording program doesn't actually allow you to do that, so that was helpful. But if I can also see things that I could have changed about that, but I've covered Ocarina of Time so many times at this point that I probably would not, unless it's the 3DS version. Okay, this is a meme. Our 7th LP of PokeMMO with Kazuma Sake and the Space Kitsune / Mercs blog. We're never going to go back to that. I've already done a Fire Red Nuzlocke and an Emerald Randomizer Nuzlocke, so I've already covered those two that are part of PokeMMO, because you can do Fire Red and Emerald on that. And, well, not only that, we never got past Mount Moon, and that's why the first Redux episode is now finally up on Patreon as an exclusive, because it's been sitting there for 2.5 years, and it hasn't really, you know, seen the light of day. The whole point was because it was, my footage was on my channel, Kieran's would have been on his channel, and Reese's would have been on his channel, but that never happened because Reese's footage never recorded for whatever reason. Kieran never edited his because of those issues, and my one was the only one edited because I at that time I tended to edit everything that I recorded immediately, and now I kind of space myself out a little bit, which is why I record in bulk, then I edit them as I go. So yeah, of course here I'm taking a bit of a chill time to edit this video, but you get what I mean. But yeah, that's probably not good. I'm probably never going to return to PokeMMO, but everything could have pretty much been improved upon. I mean, if we started new today, it would be a different story. And final thing, our Zelda Twilight Princess LP, our very first LP that we pretty much started this channel with. Of course, it's obvious. We could play the HD version all the way through, get the stamps on the way, open all the chests that I know that I missed, because I had to keep going back for them as well during covering the HD changes, and we would have graphics, we would have end cards, it would be nice and sweet. Problem is, 1, Nintendo don't like showing the cutscenes of that particular game for whatever reason. 2, when I did return to the HD version, I kept the collection graphics the same, just the text, and the reason for that is because of consistency with the current project at that time. I'm continuing the project with the latest version at that time, so I would do that. And 3, because I returned to the project, and because it was my first LP project, I probably wouldn't redo it unless some catastrophic thing happened where all the videos got deleted off of YouTube somehow and I didn't have them backed up, which I do. But if I lost the backup, I probably would redo it. I just don't know how I would structure it, to be honest, because, like, I mean, for one thing, the first 20 episodes were, like, in the 50-minute time limit, and now they're different. But at the same time, the commentary would also be different because I wouldn't have guest stars all the time. But because I don't normally do that during my main projects nowadays. I only have those for, like, actual alternate videos, such as, you know, the collaborations. Undertale being the exception. But yeah, that would definitely be something with Twilight Princess, but that's if I don't lose what I already have. It's my first LP, it's pretty much got that stigma, it's got that pin, it's not pretty much moving unless otherwise. And yeah, that's all I have for reflection, really. My personal best projects, my most popular, and the projects I could possibly improve or redo. And yeah, with that, yeah, we've come a long way. The quality has always been climbing. It has been stagnating slightly because there's not really much else I can improve upon. Well, another better computer so I can record anything on the computer. 1080p 60 frames would be something, but that's money. I've got a decent microphone, got an okay webcam. I've got the HD recording device, which roughly averages out on 30 frames. The Dazzle's still working fine, and it seems to be running as better than ever. And yeah, I've really got nothing else to say, so I would like to say one more time, please check out every person that I have listed in the description below. If there is any room in the cards, please click those again in order to see what I've been talking about in this episode. And of course on the end card, I'll stick whatever I can on there as well. I hope to see you on the Discord, which has a free 24-hour link in the description below at the time of this video's uploading. And obviously, please check out my Patreon, consider supporting. You get unseen and unused project resources, you get never before seen videos, and when you join the Discord you get access to over 40 emojis, all of the channels, all the chats, except for the Patreon exclusives. And of course, if you pledge, if we get up to a goal of $10, one of the 10 lucky people that actually do pledge, that have the Patreon role on our Discord, will be getting a PS4 download code of South Park Stick of Truth. And with that, guys, hope that you look forward to whatever we're doing next, and I'll have an update video coming out soon because I don't want to inflate this video too much. And with that, I will see you guys next time.